tunnel vision. You give me tunnel vision. You give me tunnel vision.
What gives you tunnel vision? Just that observer that missed the army?
Or the observer that missed the double medevac drop in game one.
These lyrics. Welcome back, everybody. We just finished up a TVP, and that means it's time for another TVP.
Yeah, ByuN versus Creator.
This should look very different, by the way.
Yeah, for me personally, this is the highlight of the night, is these two going at it, because ByuN, he's been looking really feisty in TVP these days.
Yeah.
He's looking quite solid. He's been winning the majority of his matches by a long shot, both online and offline over the past
He's
like
cleaning the
3
gunk
months.
off his mouse. Look at that.
Oh, is he? I gotta go home and do that. Actually, it's been a while.
Yeah. You go home, clean the gunk off your mouse. You're like, what gunk? You
You
flip it over,
out,
you go,
you take out the mouse
ew,
ball.
what is this grime on my mouse?
Do you remember we had mice balls? I think when I first started playing RTS, I still had like the mouse ball kind of
Oh,
mouse.
I had a mouse ball.
So
I
you
used to
gotta-
take my mouse ball out and roll it in my hands, and then I get into my tournament match and I just feel it skip over the pad as I'm microing Shuttle Reaver and go, oh God. I hope they invent lasers to do this one day.
Oh, yeah. I remember for a while, I was a little skeptical of the lasers. I was like, I trust my mouse ball. I don't know if I want to go to the lasers. And then
Dude,
after that, it was like the wireless mouse. It's like, that's never going to be better.
Oh, Artosis until like, I think 2 or 3 years ago was still skeptical of wireless mouse. I'm like, Artosis, you need to get a wireless mouse. This is insane.
I'm still skeptical. I still use a wired one.
What?
I'm really ghetto too. I'll like, I don't have a mouse bungee because I'm cheap. I'll like run the cable for my mouse like through the thing that holds up the blinds. You know how you open and close the curtains?
Dude, you're a cave person. This is insane. You're gonna lose your job talking about stuff like that.
That's okay.
Do
Nobody.
you macro with your Xbox controller? This is wild stuff, man. I can't believe it.
No, that's only in Dota. All right, ByuN versus Creator. Game 1 here on Hecate loading up. Let's see which of these two gamers is going to go on and face GuMiho in the winner's match.
Okay, so we've got ByuN here in the bottom left and Creator in the top right.
ByuN going gas first. Oh, came all the way from Busan. Wow,
Yeah,
wants
welcome.
ByuN to win. That's a long way to go, man. That's cross country out here in Korea. It doesn't get much further
literally,
than that.
yeah. You gotta swim across Jeju to make it further than that.
Creator and Nightmare fighting.
Welcome, everybody. So good to have you all here in the studio. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I love this.
Hold on. There's a pylon?
I think it's going to be a, if I'm guessing correctly, a proxy 2 gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 1 gate win the main base, and then we're going to proxy a second one out here.
Yeah.
You get that Cyber
You know,
Knights core down
Creator
in a minute.
really does have so many builds. Like, he's
Yeah.
always had so many different approaches.
I love this.
Macro builds, cheesy builds.
And ByuN's going gas first, too. So if he tries to tech up really quickly, this could get scary for him, because I think we're probably going to have 1 Zealot come out. We'll see exactly what flavor of 2 gate this is going to be from Creator. Of course, keep in mind, guys, that first gateway is in the main base. From Australia, that's
welcome.
even further than Busan.
I know. You were walking around upside down, and now you're here in Korea. Welcome.
But yeah, I think this might be a little bit scary here for ByuN. He's going gas first into Reaper and then adding that command center. So this could be a really quick factory. Immediately gets thrown down here at the natural. Where's this barracks actually? Is it in the back of his main? He doesn't have a full wall off right now. It's just that factory and the natural ramp. Oh, this is scary.
2 stalkers coming up here.
Yeah, and there's already a Zealot moving cross map. This is scary here for ByuN. This could just decapitate him.
Yeah, this could just kill you. Keep in mind the Reaper, you know, it's kind of combing the map. It's not going directly across. ByuN would be better served if he had beelined that.
Yeah.
So this is not walled in yet.
No, it's not.
In fact, yeah, he could. I think, yeah, he can't quite kill the SCV that's making the factory. So at least that finishes. But like, this is going to be a lot of damage. Now he needs to be careful.
Yeah, don't get surrounded by this. Do not get surrounded by the SCVs.
Specifically the stalker, you can't let that get surrounded.
Oh my God.
Oh no, it's okay.
Is it? It's looking pretty bad too. He's going to get surrounded by the SCVs.
Oh.
You cannot let that happen. All right, so this is going to be some damage coming in.
Oh, he gets out. Old slippery stalker.
Cyclone almost out right now.
Just soaked in olive oil.
BeuN is going to try it and stabilize right here, but already losing a ton of workers. Now the Cyclone is the ideal unit in this situation, but with so many SCVs low on HP, at least one or two more should go down.
Oh, I guess the Reaper was killing stuff up there as well.
Oh, the Reaper came back and immediately gets dunked on by an Adept and a Stalker. That's even more damage.
He hiccuped the attack for a second, but he did end up getting the kill on it. So it's 14 workers to 22, and I mean the wall-in is not finished. So when he lifts it up, I guess he has to go around if he wants to get fully in there. A second Cyclone comes out.
I think we're only going to have a handful of Stalkers here. Now, Cyclones, when they do have room to actually maneuver out on the map like this, when they can really properly kite, they're very powerful in situations like this one. And absolutely, Stalker's actually going to poke forward. They should be able to get that first one. Trading out quite nicely, but it's just so much damage. I almost wish Crater would have just turned around and, you know, at least get some more hits off on that Cyclone with the Stalker, because you cannot run away in that situation. But all said and done, it's 6 workers up here for Creator. He already has his Nexus pumping workers on the low ground. BeuN took a lot of damage in the main base. Not quite the decapitation move that was potentially in the cards there, but still a lot of damage dealt.
How much damage can this Cyclone do? I love the
that was so smart
hit from the side there.
Yeah, that almost got the Cyclone.
But you know, with the second Cyclone coming up, I mean, one thing about Cyclones is like you get what you.
Oh, hold on, dead.
Double kill there. So obviously the Marines, they can't do anything. At this point in time, like when you're making Marines in this attack, it's like, yeah, well, I have a building that makes another attacking unit, so that's why I'm doing it. It's not because it's really good here. It's because I want more material on the board in my fights.
Very interesting early game here. I love Creator just coming out with openings like this one, especially game 1 in a best of 3, in a day that you're probably going to be playing a lot of PBT. Just kind of like GuMiho there in game number 2, just throwing something a little bit out of the box to throw your opponents off. It's
I think we're going to have a lot of interesting TVP builds today, assuming that we get the matchup as much as we think we might. But yeah, you know, I want to see if there's going to be any opportunity to kind of come in here and do some counterattacks. It is a second barracks that's coming down here. Obviously, you know, we're seeing workers fill up the natural expansions here. They both kind of went for pretty sharp builds, and it was a chaotic early game, but now we're getting back into the macro phase of the game here. Blink is coming along. I don't think we're going to see Protoss move out on the map at all until Blink is done, and even then it might be a little while.
Yeah, it's going to be 4-gate Blink from Creator too, so that third Nexus not quite going down just yet. Should telegraph this a little bit for BeuN, even if he doesn't get complete scouting information.
You know, he's being smart. He has the probe and the pylon over there to make it look like he's planning on getting that third base. But yeah, you're right, he's not. There's going to be a real opportunity to try to attack it again. If we do have an attack across the map when Blink is done with those Stalkers, by the way, Warp Prism coming here, so that should indicate that's even more of a possibility now. It is going to come down to where the siege tanks are positioned, and can the Stalkers blink on the tanks and maybe get away?
Yeah, there are some tricks you can do with Blink Stalkers here on Hecate. There are some angles you can attack from in the natural expansion, blink back out into the third base, although it is some kind of fidangly micro where things can go awry quite quickly if you're not completely on point with it. But I would be surprised if BeuN died of this unless Creator just micros out of his mind. Now, the Liberator is moving cross-map for harassment. Cyclone is still hovering above that natural and third base for Creator, but this is only 45 probes. Probe production right now, very intermittent, potentially even stalled as Creator's looking for killing blows. Let's see if he blinks forward, and oh, he actually gets a tank on the high ground with that move. Brilliant, played that right there.
Oh, can he actually get this? No, he cannot.
Just barely enough surface area.
He activated his counterattack a little bit late here, BeuN did. But that was such a big blow here. You could see positionally, BeuN basically had it look like he was way more vulnerable, like he might have been dropping way more on the map. And Creator just blinked into the jaws of the beast back there.
Yeah, and with Stimpack about to complete here, Creator cannot go for another blink into the main base, because if a Stim comes forward, okay, he's doing it. This is really scary, because that's a lot of Stim bio that's going to just pounce on top of these Stalkers just immediately.
Oh my God.
I mean, they get completely destroyed. They're only 4 surviving, and when you play Blink Stalker like this, it is very momentum-based. You cannot really afford to lose these units, because you want to play low gas, you want to get a ball of Stalkers up, and then you want to be pumping a ton of Zealots while you slowly tech up with the remaining gas. And for Creator right now, I'm concerned. He bled out way too many Stalkers in the main base. ByuN is feeling comfortable enough to even take the third base while going for a double drop like this. Gonna get the Observer at the main base as well. And I don't even think we have a Forge in the cards here for Creator, so he's behind on upgrades. That charge only about halfway done. ByuN is gonna have a very large window where he has room to play with these bio units on the map, and it's gonna start with this double medevac drop here in the main base.
Yeah, this drop is going to be big. We'll see how quickly Creator notices it as well. And this is the thing, when you see a lot of Stalkers killed off, they're really, oh my God, right on top of this Immortal. That's going to wipe all of this out. The battery just can't do enough to sustain this. Now even the battery goes down.
He doesn't have a recall even here in the main base.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to basically walk home.
GG, there it is. ByuN takes game number 1 in a very convincing fashion. Cool build coming from Creator, but bad blinks are going to cost him the game.
Yeah, a little bit of miss micro there. The Stalker getting surrounded in the main base took a lot of the power out of the opening push. It made it harder for him to fight the first couple of Cyclones that came out of that factory. And so the damage wasn't quite what he was looking for. I think it was still playable. But then the 4-gate blink, I mean, sometimes it just completely flounders like it did there. He did not have a good read on when Stimpack was going to finish. And also going for the siege tank and the bunker was a little bit ambitious. So 2 oversteps. If you play a build that's as cutthroat as 4-gate blink like that with a slow third base against a bio player,
yeah,
I mean,
off of the 2-gate opening.
Yeah, it's dangerous. You have to thread the needle very carefully. You're basically playing on the knife's edge, and very few players in the world can execute it. I mean, Max Pax, obviously the best hero, can also make it work. Creator trying his own hand, but ByuN just a little bit too good there with the defense. Up 1-0 now here in the second match of Group C.
All right, guys, we're going to go to Oceanborn here. ByuN with that 1-0 lead. Again, probably going to have a lot of different TVP builds here. Although, obviously, if ByuN wins here, we will have a TVT in that winner's match. GuMiho awaits the victor of this best of 3. So, best of luck here to Creator as he needs to come back with 2 wins. Yeah, ByuN looking as strong as ever. We're ready to go to that game 2 now, guys. So, let's get ready to continue this series on. Okay, ByuN in the bottom right, Creator in the top left.
Wondering what builds these players go for here in game number 2. ByuN once again opening with a gas first.
Welcome. Thank you for coming down.
He's been watching since season 1. Let's see Kronos win.
From Hawaii. Aloha.
He chose a good time to come over. I'm sure the weather in Hawaii is amazing. Fly out
Yeah,
to Seoul
yeah,
right when the
yeah.
weather's getting good here too. That guy knows how to play it.
God, it was so cold about a month ago.
Even like last week, you pick a good time
I
to
did.
relax a little bit.
Well, I picked a good time to miss GSL too, because last week you guys had nothing but tech delays. You know that was just me playing God, right? I was watching you and Gemini cast. I'm like, all right, let me phone into production. I'm
You
like,
guys are having too much
make
fun.
the game crash. Let's see what these boys can do.
I can't remember the last time we had somebody need to get their computer replaced on stage with the GSL. It feels like that basically never happens.
We almost never have tech delays in this show just because it's like all the same computers and players and staff. And usually when you have a tech delay, it's on the first day of like a big overseas event where they have everything set up and then there's some unforeseen problem. But
I mean, occasionally like the white noise will go out and the players will pause and it takes like a minute to get it fixed. But
Or sometimes it's that there's a light that's maybe 2 in one of the player's eyes, and so they got to fix that. And then in the first 2 or 3 years of StarCraft 2, it was players accidentally muting the sound and then freaking out and thinking the sound broke. This happened like every week for a while. It was just like nervous players like hitting whatever hockey combination will mute that, and then going, oh, something's wrong.
I hit Control S trying to warp into Stalker.
Right, yeah.
I hit Control S trying to warp into Stalker. I don't have sound anymore.
Mayday, mayday.
That happened pretty deep into StarCraft 2 as well. I want to say like,
Yeah,
I remember
it'll
that
still
being
happen.
frequent up until like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, which The lifespan of StarCraft 2, that's pretty deep in the history. That's half the game.
Yeah. Well, people are still getting nervous before their matches and doing stuff like this. Look at that.
Check that out. Second command center coming in here for BeuN.
And it perfectly balances out the feng shui of his base. It's like one up there at the top right by the end, but also they've got one in the back.
Oh, interesting build. You know, with the guys first coming into this one, too, I was really expecting to see something more in line with what we saw in game number 1.
Yeah.
With the barracks into a command center, fast reactor off a Reaper, and then...
Well, I think there's some... I think it's kind of smart.
Yeah.
I mean, the build that Creator did was pretty cheesy, and it didn't work. And it feels like with really good players, sometimes if they do a cheesy build in game 1 and it doesn't work, they don't cheese as hard in game 2. And so this allows you to maybe greed a little bit more. Obviously, it's not a universal, but you know, there's always this poker game going on inside of the best of 3 as far as who opens with what build. So I like this.
Double Adept catching that Reaper in the middle of the map. Always a sigh of relief whenever that Reaper goes down as the Protoss player. That's like the first big hurdle in the game. Especially if we don't play with a Reaper wall in the same way that Creator is this time. As he's just going to tech up into Blink and a Robo once again. I think this is 3-gate Blink. Yeah, it should be 3-gate Blink. So going to be a faster third base than we saw in the previous match. A little bit more macro focused. This Creator maybe licking his wounds and his pride a little bit after going for that really high octane aggression there in game number 1 and just kind of falling flat on his face with the Blinks. I like the way this build lines up here against BeuN because unless you're really able to go for a killing blow with a 4-gate Blink against a fast 3cc opening like this one, you're going to be playing from behind. So the fact that Creator will soon be throwing down that third Nexus, unless he decides to play it really safe and go for the Robo Bay behind.
Yeah, this is going to be a slower game for sure.
Yeah, Nexus goes down. I like this approach. This is about as standard as a PBT is going to get here on Korea.
Yeah, so we're going to be going up into a much more of a macro game. I mean, obviously, if Terran gets a third command center like this really, really fast, there's really, literally no way for you to be aggressive on the map at all, I guess, unless you wanted to do some kind of a weird drop, which just doesn't feel like it'd be the right way to play.
Yeah, usually, if you're going to mix in something with a 3cc build, it'll be like a Widowmine drop, just to try and keep your opponent at home, but you don't see it too often at the super high level because it runs the risk of just falling flat, getting cleaned up by Stalkers, and then if your opponent is going 4-gate Blink, and you go 3cc with a Widowmine drop, yeah, that is the situation where you just die. As soon as they move across the map, losing that production time on the factory, and then losing a production time on the starport as well is just really dangerous there as Terran. So I like BeuN just kind of playing it nice and conservative back at home. He's getting his upgrades. He's really leaning heavily into the barracks, which is quite nice against these Stalker-based compositions, especially if it's not 4-gate, because, I mean, yeah, you are going to lose some units like this. Some fancy micro coming out from Creator, able to focus fire a couple of these Marines. Might even get another one?
Yeah, not bad. Trades out the shields, but all of the Stalkers take a little bit of hull damage. It's got to be probably going to be the last time you could try to do that here with concussive shells about to finish.
I wonder, we didn't get a chance during the intro to talk about the PTR patch notes that got released recently, but I don't think we have too many maps that are going to be coming out once that patch goes live with the healing zones, but I'm really curious about how that is going to play out when it eventually gets mixed in, because we've never had anything like that in StarCraft 2. But just imagine a situation where you do go for chip damage like that with the Stalkers, you get some pickoffs, and then you have map control so you heal them somewhere on the map. That's something Protoss doesn't get to do.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So,
I mean, fundamentally how we understand them.
Oh, this is a little bit lucky for BeuN here. I think Creator thought he was in the line of sight blocker, but wasn't.
Yeah.
And so does bleeding out a Stalker immediately. And now BeuN, he smells blood in the water, man.
Well,
double medevac drop in the natural expansion, and he's pushing the third.
Now, this is right by where the Robo is. To keep in mind, you need like a certain amount of material to block. Dude, this is so bad.
Yeah, this is sick here for BeuN.
There's just not quite enough to catch up to whatever Terran has. It seems like on both sides, he might just end up losing this fight. There's enough infantry here. I think he can actually get a surround on this Colossus.
Yeah, with perfect micro, but keep in mind that he's spinning a lot of plates right now. He's going for a medevac drop here in the main base, pivoting in from the natural expansion. 13 probes already going down. I think that Colossus is still alive barely here at the third. If the Marauders just get one volley off, and yes, they do, it will fall. This is so much damage. 21 probes, all of the key units reset there for Creator. The second Colossus just now popped. Thermal Lance about to finish, but that's the kind of momentum building move coming out from ByuN off this huge early third base economy that could just snowball so quickly.
You know, honestly, I mean, Terran is looking so strong right now, and Protoss is just, it's like they, Creator, oh!
Man, was that
I
two
was gonna say,
stalkers?
he barely has enough to defend any of these positions.
There is a world where he's able to stabilize, but it's going to be an uphill battle here for Creator. He has to play this basically perfectly from here on out.
Well, the thing is, it seems like Terran could be a little bit stronger with a small number of units, where Protoss has to have like the right set of units and a high enough number of them. That's why when we saw those stalkers get picked off early on, it's like, oh, this could be really bad. We just had it highlighted that the forges, excuse me, are not double upgrading here. So
yeah,
Creator is a little bit shaken.
Looks like Creator is going to be going for a counterattack. He might feel that he's taken just a little bit too much damage back at home. He's only at 49 workers. We'll see if that slowly trickles up to a higher counter, if he's just going to full send it with this push. Those sentries do have 4 force fields available right now. If Creator decides to wait, he might have a couple more. So force field placement going to be very critical as he attacks in. First Viking is already on the field. Warpit's coming through. Goes for a Guardian Shield. One sentry immediately gets picked off there. Some nice micro by ByuN.
Really good blink there, but is this going to be enough? The Zealots warp in. The Stalkers thin out. The SCVs come into the front, so the Colossi will be able to mow them down. Does that buy ByuN enough time?
Well, Creator actually with some nice control right now with these Colossi, but he has to be very careful not to let them get jumped on by these Marauders. Woo. Good micro. Hot pickups right there with the Warp Prism. Able to save both of them just for now, so 23 SCVs going down. The bio is thinning out a little bit, but eventually these Colossi will get picked off. No! Look at this Warp Prism micro! ByuN has to pick off the Warp Prism before he can take down the Colossi, and that was an excellent counterattack from Creator, but I'm just not sure it's going to be enough.
That's going to be it.
Wow.
GG. ByuN takes that series 2-0.
Admirable effort there by Creator, man. That was about as good a fight as you could possibly take from that position, but ByuN just a little bit too powerful.
Yeah, you know, ByuN just like way more clean. And look, I mean, there is this point in the game where it is not easy for Protoss to handle that mid-game pressure. Like if you get tripped up at all,
it snowballs.
Medevacs have boost, infantry have stim. You've got your blink and your recall, but like that's a very different mechanic. And you know, at the blink of an eye, you can lose so many workers, and it all starts to compound from there.
Yeah, Creator looking a little bit frustrated with that first match. Means we will have a TVT in the winners match, PvP in the losers match. Guys, we're gonna go to a break. When we get back, BeuN versus GuMiho to decide who's gonna be first advancing into the round of 8.
So hold on to the highs while you're alright, 'cause you know you're gonna come down. Just a matter of time and you will find everything comes back around. Comes back around.